Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Iana, and in today's video is gonna be a bit special. It serves as a complement to my previous tutorial where I colored this magical duo from Mythomorphia by Kirby Rosanes. If you haven't seen this video yet, I will leave the link in the description box below, and if you have seen it, guys, thank you so much for your amazing engagement and all your uplifting comments. You not only helped me to reach new subscribers and grow this channel, but honestly, you just made my entire week, like day after day. So thank you very much again for this wonderful experience. And what is about this video? Well, in short, what to avoid when using the crayon coloring approach that I've shared, and what to be mindful of to achieve the best possible and satisfying result. So, without further ado, let's dive into the subject. First and foremost, know your crayons. The crayons I use for coloring are, except for Neocolors II, made for kids. Like Crayola crayons and the silky crayons I use are typically coloring tools for kids, and they are definitely not mess proof. So when I color with wax crayons, Crayola wax crayons, I always keep a dry, clean brush aside so I can sweep away any crumbs without smudging. With silky crayons, the mess level can go in a blink of an eye up a notch. Like these crumbs just love to smudge. So the best way to avoid any unwanted transfer of pigment is prevention. In the previous video you could see me placing a plate with silky crayon swatches on my coloring book. Guys, please never do it when you are coloring. You must be aware that I have only a corner, like literally a corner on my desk to color. I also work here and pacify my cat, as you could already see. And for the purpose of the video tutorial, I just put the plate on a coloring book so you can see what I am doing. But please do not repeat it like one-to-one. Put your plate with swatches of silky crayons aside your coloring page. And Neocolors II warning. In the previous video tutorial you could see my hands literally turning blue while just sharpening these crayons. They are gorgeous and highly pigmented and activate incredibly easy in hand sweat. So please be mindful of it unless you want to leave, a magical trail of your colorful fingerprints all around. Step 1. Applying Crayola wax crayons. Please don't overthink the step. I usually apply crayons to broader areas where I can comfortably go back later with a cloth or a paintbrush or an ear stick to remove the Neocolor II layer. I could add details with like waxy Prismacolor pencil, but be mindful that you will have to go back at some point to these tiny areas and to remove precisely the layer of Neocolor II. So, this method is meant to release the feeling of feeling overwhelmed by an intricate design and not to add any extra tension. It's better to keep things simple and to build up later with waxy colored pencils like Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils or Prismacolor pencils or acrylic markers or gel pens or probably many more other media that I haven't tested yet. Activating Neocolor II crayons. This is the step 2. This is the space when things can go very right or very wrong. And therefore please be very mindful of amount of water that you will have on your brush. In the video tutorial you could see me pressing not only the brush against the jar, but afterwards squeezing it into a kitchen cloth. And on top of all these activities, you could see me doing this. And it's not for the shot to be fancy, but I'm just checking at this moment if there is the right amount of water. And you want to keep your brush as dry as possible with just enough water to activate Neocolors II, like this. And if you are not sure yet what amount of water is right, just, check on a paper scrap like this one, practice on a paper scrap like this one to get, accustomed to the right amount of water in your brush. When it comes to activating Neocolor II, you have probably seen me boldly spreading pigment across the page in a previous video. But here is something to keep in mind. Wax from crayons is porous, and based on my experience so far, I haven't been able to perfectly remove a layer of Neocolor II once it's been applied over Crayola wax. So if you have used a crayon color that is complementary to your Neocolors II, and you want to preserve the vibrancy of the color of your Crayola crayon, and prevent the situation when this color is turning, in some brownish tones, it's best to avoid applying Neocolor II directly on that specific area. That's exactly what I did when I was coloring this Forest Man page. I was simply working carefully around the ladybug, not to cover with green pigment from Neocolor II. My makeup brushes are quite dense and they give me this sense of comfort and control over where the bristles go. But if you are not comfortable with working around a tiny objects with your makeup brush, you can always go into these little tiny corners with a regular paintbrush. And just in case you were wondering which colors are complementary, they are the one sitting directly opposite each other on a color wheel. So a quick peek at one can, help you avoid unexpected color drama. Step 3. Removing excess Neocolor II. Please use a soft absorbent cloth. Like no harsh materials that will damage the paper, that can damage the paper. Squeeze out any excess water first. It's like the #1 rule of all the approach. And every time you dab or wipe a page, switch to a clean part of the cloth, like from this here, so you don't move pigment all around the page. Step 4 and 5, covering lines with Posca and gel pens. Guys, this step is really dependent on your individual project. Enhancing the lines or adding the highlights is totally up to you. It's not essential, in my opinion, to the crayon technique itself. Now, step 6, applying silky crayons. Silky crayons are super fun and super tricky. They are another example of wax-based crayons, but unlike Neocolors do, water doesn't activate their pigment, their color, but changes their consistency. And now, if you do not add enough water, the brush will not pick up the pigment at all. But if you add too much of water, believe me, every drop counts. Coloring with silky crayons will be like, catching a fish in a pond. It will be swinging all around the page, sliding, and before you know it, the pigment is swimming all over the page. Since publishing the video where I revealed the process behind the Leocamp and Hippocamp page, I've received many thoughtful questions and I've done my best to respond to each one. I've also been lucky enough to see some of your first creations using the technique. And I'm so tremendously grateful for all the tags. It truly makes my day to see all your wonderful interpretations. Some of you shared your successes and a few trials that didn't end up as expected. So I also received a question regarding the paper. Are there limitations in regards to the paper, including the Amazon paper? So last night I decided to do a quick coloring session to test it out myself and to see how Amazon paper holds up to the layers of treatments. I chose the Stingray coloring page from Animal Mandala Adult Coloring Book by Puppetry Blue. And I'm happy to report that the paper is like almost as good as new. Now, I'm not completely thrilled with the aesthetics of this page, but it wasn't the point of this exercise. The goal was to test the versatility of my approach, and I'm pleased to say and to share that it holds up. You just need to be mindful of the two factors that I already mentioned. First and foremost, of the amount of water that you have on your brush, and secondly, when activating Neocolors II with a makeup brush, just don't press too hard. Be gentle, take your time, and the paper will thank you. That being said, I wanted to thank you once again for your beautiful engagement and enthusiasm. It truly means the world to me. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer all your questions either directly or in one of the future videos. And that's all I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumb up and subscribe if you haven't already. And happy coloring, guys, and until next time, bye bye.